notifications kept popping on his phone from his friend, and I thought nothing of it until like one day I just like something just clicked in me that like this notification might not be what it really is. So I hacked into his Snapchat. Don't ask how.
All in audio experience.
All right, let's go.
So I don't wear Snapchat.
Just start from the beginning.
Okay, so basically, I had a boyfriend in undergrad, and I had talked to him for a little while. We talked for like 6 months, and I gave him an ultimatum. I was like, "Hey, we got to be together because I'm at your family. I've been to your house. We're together like almost every day. I basically live in your apartment. I got a drawer, whatever." And so I was like, "Okay, so we got to get official." We got official. Like maybe like a few months later, I was like, this girl popped up. Like she had me on Snapchat. She had him on Snapchat. I thought it was a little funny. I was just like, she's a hoe. That's what I came to the conclusion of. She was posting all these dudes in different beds and all this other stuff. Like she had like a what are they called when you have like a story with somebody and you just send stories back every day? What is that called?
A streak.
Snapchat. Yeah, they had a streak.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically he got a streak with her.
You didn't add these details in the first time.
No, we were getting there. We were getting there.
Okay.
So he ended up having a streak with her. I had a streak with her too, so I didn't think nothing of it. And then I was just like, okay.
It's a hoe for real.
Yeah,
she got a streak with her.
No, like her streak would be like her in a dude's bed. Like that's what the streak would be. Like it'd be like something random from her day, and it'd be like a dude. She's in somebody's bed, or like she was out turning up. Stay was lit. Stay was a lit school. But basically, so I was like, all right, unfriend her. Like I don't want you to have her on Snapchat. And he did. So I thought. So fast forward a few times, like she kept popping up around him and his friends. I was like, he was always going to say like, he would always say, that he his friends is friends with her. So I was like, okay, maybe like they really are. Give him the benefit of the doubt. I was in college. I was being dumb. Then one day, like just notifications kept popping on his phone from his friend, and I thought nothing of it until like one day I just like something just clicked in me that like this notification might not be what it really is. So I hacked into his Snapchat. Don't ask how. But basically, I had his email account, and I knew his password to his email, so I hacked into his.
You went the back way.
Yeah. I had his email on my phone, so I just used his email to get into his Snapchat. And so I'm scrolling through it. I'm like, oh, this is nothing. I was like, hold on. Jay really do be messaging him a lot. Like, something's up with that. I was like, Jay, I see him all the time. Like, they cool, but I don't think they should be talking all this much. I opened the story. It's pictures. Just pictures of them together. In instances where I thought that I was like the only one there. Like he was like, oh no, I didn't talk to her that night. He had his arm around her like this in the club. Like I mean,
that could have just been rapping freestyle.
I had came there within like 10 minutes of him doing that. Like that was ridiculous. Okay.
I hate when y'all be putting stuff together, but fair enough.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Because that's how y'all be making this. We was together that night.
Yes.
I saw you like 20 minutes earlier. You ain't okay.
Yeah, and and his best girlfriend was like, "Oh, you probably don't want to come in there." And I was like, "Why not? Like, he's my man." Like, but no.
She said that to you that night.
Yeah, she was like, "Nobody wanted me to go," but I was like, "I'm going because nobody wanted me to go."
That's your fault. You ain't pick it up.
I didn't know. I saw her, but they were like dancing. Like it was on the floor. Like everybody moved. They were in seats when like they took the pictures, and then there was like pictures of like her hand on her ass, like in the mirror, like just like posted up in the mirror, like with each other, like hella pictures. I was just like, what is this? And so all I did was message, y'all caught. And then I pulled up on her at her job. And I told her, I was like, you want to meet up? Like, we going to meet up and talk about this? Because I've been talking to him forever. And you have me on Snapchat. You have him on Snapchat. So you see me post him.
I forgot about the old Michaela. You was the pull up type.
Yeah. And so I pulled up on her. And then like me and my boyfriend at the time, like we was like, I pulled up on him. I made sure he gave me his phone. I was like, you're going to give me your phone and we're done. Like, I was in the parking lot. You're going to give me your phone. And he threw it in the car. Like, I had his phone for the whole day. He was talking to this, I don't say the B word. He was talking to this girl on freaking GroupMe. Like, he stopped talking to her in text and in the messages and he moved her to GroupMe and was messaging her on GroupMe. So I was like, oh, obviously, I'm not getting back with you. I'm a one person. Like, you mess up one time, I'm done. Like, obviously, there's somebody better for me. So yeah, but we're friends now. That was my story. We're friends now, but he did me dirty. He did me real dirty.
Oh, I'm so dead.
If you see this, he might watch this. I'm sorry.
Just
I had to
laugh
let
at
you.
it.
I had
Just
no,
laugh at
and then
it.
on top of that, there was an Instagram page that was made that exposed all like MSU, whatever. And someone had posted a picture of me and him together, saying that I was getting cheated on, and then. Like that was before this all happened, so like somebody knew.
Oh, State was
People
messy.
knew. Yeah, they was messy.
That big
So-
ass school is that messy?
Yes. No, the black community there is like so tight knit. Like you're gonna find out everybody messing with everybody, everybody talking to everybody smoking with everybody just to get public place to do something, and then we're gonna go home. Like, yeah, I established a lot of boundaries when I got out of school, and honestly, dating people here, the men just, I think like because we have like our degrees, I don't think it stops people from dating us. I think it really is just more like, okay, a lot of more guys are like, I need to be like in the right place to be with you. And I get that, like that's great, but sometimes, you know, you get lonely in those periods. I had some lonely periods. Raven be texting me sometimes. And I just be like, girl, I promise you, your man's coming. I promise.
Yes.
But yeah, I just don't lose hope. There's somebody out there for you. And I learned that through dating a lot. And yeah, so they're
It
out
definitely
there.
gets more serious, I think.
Yeah, and a lot of dudes just ain't ready yet. It's
and
just I don't know what's taking y'all so long.
I don't know. A lot, like I can speak for myself, but a lot of the men that I've talked to have this like arbitrary like deadline of like by year 30. But you know, you did talk about boundaries, and that is so important. Like honestly, folks gonna push you as far as you'll let them.
Really.
And, you know, it's also really easy. Like, I'm guilty of this too. When you like somebody, then your boundaries be slipping a little bit. And then
Yeah, you cannot
it's
let
not
them
worth
go.
it.
I'm so dead.
You cannot let them go until you got confirmation that they're really
Y'all be
they're
doing
really
that too.
there.
Like we here, nigga.
Yeah, I'm
You
like,
said
are
this.
you sure? Do you really want to
Say it
talk
out.
to me?
Verbally say it. I need you to say it.
Like, do you, like that's why I waited till I got with my boyfriend. I was like, we're gonna be official before like anything. And I did give him a little bit of a hard time before, but I'm like, now I know like our relationship's worth it. Like I feel like we're like Raven. Like I'm marrying this man. Like I'm gonna say it on this podcast.
You better.
I'm marrying this man. So it's just like I think, you know, you just gotta have like self-confidence about yourself, and then also just have like just know what you want. I think a main thing is just being like, I even built out a list. I have a whole list of like everything I wanted. I showed it to a guy. He was like, you're not gonna get that. And then like a few months later, here you come, everything, like not one miss on the list. So you can make your list, ladies, and it might get accepted, but you got to do your part too. And I think that's a big part of it.
I would say like you graduate and like you start dating again and you realize like you really ain't got all the time in the world like you did before. So you start like adding structure to your dating life, how you did with other stuff like work and school and stuff. And it's like before, you know, you want to keep the fun in dating. You don't want it to be boring, but like one of the reasons guys that are like taking their time and it feels like, why aren't y'all ready yet? Money is a big one. Also, like, if you gotta, like, I hate using, like, the Kevin Samuel words, like, a high-value man. Also, what's harder than the money, though, is actually making sure you right inside. Because, like, if you really love somebody, you really want to have a good marriage with a good family, you got to make sure your eyes ain't still looking around. Like, you kind of got to be a husband before you actually start, like, doing husband stuff. Because, like, y'all can have the money right. Y'all can get in a relationship. Y'all can get married. You go out here and mess with some random woman, you done mess up everything. Now your wife looking at you crazy. Your kids like, what's wrong? You know what I'm saying? So you really got to get some stuff right. And honestly, some of that stuff is harder than the money at times. You know what I'm saying? So that's.
And you got to really evaluate if you really like the person. Like a lot of people just be with people just because how they look, how many follow. Not specifically, but you could just tell by like their energy. Like they're with this person just for who they are, not because of who they are. Like deep down inside. And I feel like that's the important part. Like me being celibate, like me and my boyfriend, like we're able to like really dig deep on ourselves and like we know each other like to the core. And we're still learning each other. There's lots of stuff I don't know about him, but we can really focus on that versus like having sex and being like somewhat distracted from what we're doing. So yeah.
No, you said something with that one because that's honestly what's really scary is like you can grow and add the other stuff. If you get with somebody and they ain't where they want to be financially, even spiritually in some places you can grow. But like if y'all get 10 years in and they check the boxes in all these other places, but y'all realize y'all don't even like each other that much, that's scary. You know what I'm
And I
saying?
hope in 10 years you don't just quit because of that, because that's just life. Like, you're going to change over time. So
True.
Yeah.
And that's true too. So that's a good one. That's a good one. I need some stories though. Like I need in this dating process, what is a just an outlandish date that you came back and you was like, Raven, you got to hear this, or Michaela, you got to hear this. Let's start with Raven.
Yeah,
So when you came home and was like, girl, look what this nigga done did. Like, this is, why why did I go on this date?
Okay, I'm trying to. Okay, so I have been very particular about like post-college dating, but there's this one story about like while I was in school, and it was just the most bizarre experience ever. And I'm okay.
Hopefully he doesn't see this.
I mean, if he do, then like
It'd
it
be
is
like,
what it is
you're
at
exposed.
this point. Like, yes,
Feel bad.
Okay, so we was walking in the Ferg one time or whatever, and that's the student center, and I was feeling a little bold or whatever, and I saw this guy, and we had a conversation, we chopped it up a little bit, and he's like, oh well, I really want to take you out, da 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 da, but like I'm like. At this point, I'm like deep in. We a couple weeks from finals or whatever. I'm like, okay, whatever. We can do something. So we end up deciding we go meet up for coffee. And, I'm like, okay, well, this is my schedule for the day. Like, let me know when you want to catch up and then we can do it. And like something super light, super casual. Like, I mean, we're still students or whatever. I wasn't expecting everything. This man shows up like an hour late, and I was studying, so I really didn't care anyway. But he shows up late, but he shows up in like a 3-piece suit, and he is in the coffee shop of the student center, and I'm like, what is going on? And so, yeah, he shows up in this suit, and, he's just like, okay, well, do you want coffee or anything like that? And I'm like, I mean, I didn't already, have, but I'm like, yeah, let's get some or whatever. He grabs coffee. He comes back. He takes a sip of my drink, and then he takes a sip of his, and he's like, oh, yes, okay. And, like, it was so bizarre. Then he, like, tries to hold my hand across the table while we're talking. I'm like, I met you, like, 4 minutes ago. Calm down, sir. Yeah, and like
Bro is the main character though. Like he said this is his world. Y'all just living in it.
I'm telling you, 3-piece matching vest and everything.
Fashionably late.
Yes, it was so bizarre. I mean, we was in the student center. I thought he was normal, okay? But like, no.
You
here's
approached
the
him first, or
big
he approached
gag.
you?
I approached him.
Okay, so you saw something.
Like, I mean, I saw him. I saw him
He's probably
seeing
wearing
me.
a 3-piece suit.
And but he wasn't. But I saw him seeing me, and like I like that confidence or whatever. And I was like, well, let me introduce myself, And so the conversation starts, okay? And he's like, wow, you just look so great. And I'm just, oh, thank you. And he's like, but before we start, I just want to get 3 things out of the way. You will not believe. I halfway don't even want to say it. The 3 questions he asked me was, number 1, are you crazy? I kind of threw back at that. Number 2, do you have any children? And then, or like, do you have any kids? And then number 3, are you a virgin? Like, I kid you not, in the middle of the student center, coffee shop at like 3 in the afternoon.
You're a little different.
It was wild. And I never got those vibes, I promise. Because you, at the first sign, like, I'm a jump ship, like, I'm not doing that. But yes, my mouth dropped. And then he just like, I'm like, what kind of answer do you want me to give you? Like, are you serious? Are you serious right now?
So you said no to all of them. So what did he want?
Like, I said the answer is whatever you wanted to be, whatever. He's like,
I'm
oh,
dead.
and I was like, he was like, oh, I just want to know because sometimes women be crazy.
That's her man voice, y'all. AKA
Yes.
we stupid.
Yes, sometimes women be crazy, and I'm just like, oh my god, like how did I not see this? Like this man is wild. And so I, text my friend. I'm like, yo, I'm at the student center. Like, there's an emergency or something. Call me or whatever. And then, she calls me, and I'm like, oh, damn, I gotta go and it helped my roommate out, and you know, it had started raining, and I remember it was raining, and I was just like, oh my gosh, now I gotta walk back to my dorm in the rain. He's like, oh, I can drive you, and then I'm like, dumb, I let this man drive me, but I didn't want to tell him where I lived. Exactly, I didn't want to tell him where I lived, so I had him drop me off at my friend's dorm, and then like, you know, I just met them there or whatever. But yeah, it was just and to this day, I am still just dumbfounded. And then a couple weeks later, like this might give it away, he started a gentleman's club to help men learn how to be gentlemen and treat women.
That's not what
That
gentlemen's
was
club.
the like icing on
Yeah,
the
I was
cake.
thinking he started a strip club.
Oh no, I'm sorry, but no, like that's
legitimate,
what
I
it was
got you, I
called.
got
It was
you.
They
called-
have like a
and they
thing
like
at state
walked
like
around
that.
with suits
Okay.
and stuff, and I was
Mox,
just
they
like,
have men of excellence. They had that at state.
That would have been a better
Mox,
name.
yeah.
That would have been a
well,
better
Yeah,
name.
they-
honestly, I'm sorry, but like I'm pretty sure like it was
like-
something
They
along
stole
those
that from
I was
lines.
about to
Mississippi
whisper,
State.
Raven, you met a pimp. Like,
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I was like, he's about to sex traffic you or something.
Yeah,
so
but like
cried.
nah, it's something along those lines. But like I was just like, still
that's
to the day,
hilarious.
worst first date ever.
all right, one question out of that was fair was the kid question. Because you'll be at college and know somebody for like 4 years, and then you'll find out they got like 2 kids. Like, nigga, how we never had this conversation? You
Facts.
never brought up.
Yeah, Jabari and JJ.
Never mind. Chill. Don't be saying my kids'
Be having
names.
secret
Like,
girlfriends.
nah, Raven said my kids. We gonna skip over that.
They be having secret girlfriends
I'm
too.
so
They be
weird.
hiding them. They be having a girl back at home.
Yes, but I mean
Everybody
the kids
be
is
having-
valid. But like,
Everybody.
how you gonna ask
The
a woman
girls
if
be
they're
having
crazy?
No.
boyfriends. Yes, y'all do.
No.
But anyways,